Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And this is the autopsy of Doctor Who. Just finished watching the episode. Yeah, it's just me today. Hello, everyone. And I didn't take notes. Probably should have with how much jumping around there was in this episode, but that's pretty much all it was. And one thing is clear now that we're 3 episodes into the flux. We only have 3 episodes to go. We have more questions than answers, and they actually introduced 3 more characters, but 2 that look to be pivotal to the story once the mystery box is opened in the last 5 minutes of episode 6. That will be probably instantly solved with some contrived thing that the doctor does with her sonic vibrator. But one thing is clear, that Chris Chibnall is probably better suited for the long arc than the individual episode. And the one single problem with this show remains, when your main character is the least compelling thing in your show, it makes it very hard to enjoy the show. There was one surprise that I thought I called, but I was completely off on that one, and we'll get to that. But I bet you guys were thinking it too. At least some of you were. Because, I mean, the show has set many precedents, very bad ones. But this episode got me thinking a lot about the thing that's very hot in superhero movies right now, multiverses. And of course, they exist in Doctor Who. There are alternate doctors. So there is a way to fix the timeless children. Unfortunately, I think this episode was one step further towards doubling down on it. And hell, I don't know. RTD and Chibnall could be best buds. But I know artists, I know egos, and I know that Chibnall probably wants to cement his run. That's why he and Piers Wenger absolutely intended on giving the Doctor an origin, changing the canon of Doctor Who, using whatever loopholes they could to cement their legacy and make it very difficult, not impossible, for another writer to undo it. Now, and the reason I don't think they're going to undo it, and I've said this in the last 2 reviews, and I'll say it again, the Timeless Children was not a creative decision. It was an ideological decision, and it's very hard to go back on those. And when they do, you see what kind of clapback they get. Ghostbusters is a good example. It'll be interesting to see what kind of reception there is to that film, if it's good. And we've already seen some of it. Now, I would argue that I wish these corporations would ignore what is said on Twitter. I've never said they had to listen to us. Just don't listen to them. So if they just went ahead and did the right thing, got rid of the Timeless Children, and moved ahead and just made entertaining Doctor Who, despite whatever very vocal criticism they would get for a little bit of time, just ignore it, move ahead, and you'll be fine. As far as completely repairing your show, you can't do that. The damage is done. Even if you completely undo it, it's like, with the rumor of them erasing the Disney trilogy. Even if they did that, which I don't think they will, we still saw it. It still happened. Carrie Fisher is gone. Harrison Ford will not come back. I doubt Mark Hamill would come back. But maybe even if he did, we still saw it. It would be a victory. It'd be great. But it doesn't really fix everything. Once damage is done, it's done. And what is left of Doctor Who is just fans who habitually watch it, hardcore fans, or the people who like Jodie, who are more into confirmation bias for their ideology. I just want a good show. That's all I've ever wanted. And I think it's too late. And I mean, them bringing back Russell T Davies is as close as they'll get to an admission of failure. But we will see. We will see. We've got 3 episodes left. So to briefly recap this episode, and then we'll get to you guys. Yes, there's going to be spoilers. No, it hasn't aired in the U.S. yet. Doesn't matter because only a couple 100,000 people watch it anyway. It's not like the good old days where a couple million watched it. They've lost 80%, and that's a low estimate. They've lost 80% of their audience here. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more. And people just don't care. It had its time. It was great. It was brief, and it's over here in the States. Not sure. I can't speak for Australia or any other country that's watching it, but I can definitely see that, even with the Doctor Who conventions that they did have prior to the COOF, that they used to sell out, haven't been selling out. Merchandise is gone. There used to be merchandise aisles at Barnes & Noble, which is a bookseller chain here, and they would have a giant shelf that was Doctor Who. That's gone. Hot Topic used to have a Doctor Who section. That's gone. Doctor Who toys used to be on sale at Toys R Us. Toys R Us is gone. You used to be able to find them at Walgreens. They're gone from there. And the only thing that you see is I went last Christmas. I went to a Hot Topic and found a pen, one single like button. There is a Doctor Who section at a place called Comics and Stuff, which is about 2 miles away from me. The Doctor Who section is in the same shape that it was 8 months ago when I saw it, except there's a layer of dust on everything. So, all right. So we start out this episode with Swarm and Azure, the brother and sister baddies, who do tend to chew up a little scenery there. Swarm is about to snap his fingers and put all of time through Yaz and Vinder, who have taken the place of the Mori in the Temple of Atropos on the planet Time. Apparently, Time, it's a sacred timeline, kind of like Kang, and they watch over it, and Time is considered evil. And what we find out in this episode is it's a battle between time and space. So it's time versus space. And the Flux, well, we did find out one thing about the Flux with a brand new character who came in, who, I mean, your speculation is as good as mine. I've only seen it once. If I didn't do a video review of last week's episode. I may just do a makeup review and do this one and last one in a video and talk about the ratings. And we'll talk about them a little bit here. I'll show the American ratings. But we did find something out with the Flux, with the new character. But essentially, as with all Chris Chibnall episodes, the Doctor came up with something in the last minute. So while Swarm was monologuing, the Doctor was thinking to herself that she could just take a leap of faith, and she and Dan jumped in the places where the Mori were, and they were able to fling themselves into time, basically. And she was able to talk to him for a little bit, and she's in this time storm, and then all of her companions disappear, and they end up going to basically, well, places in their own memory. It didn't start out that way, and it jumps around a lot. Dan meets, I'm forgetting her name, but the lady with one arm, his girlfriend that he was meant to go out to dinner with. He meets with her. Yaz is kind of jumping all over the place. She's being followed by weeping angels. Vinder is reliving his worst memory. I forgot the guy he works for is called like the Grand Serpent. And we meet a new character named Belle. Okay, now so the minute I saw Belle, a Mary Sue character, a fan fiction Mary Sue character, she's taken on the Daleks, she's taken on the Cybermen, and she's monologuing, and she's talking about getting back to somebody she loves. So I'm like, oh well, she's a lesbian, of course. Well, I was wrong. So I'm happy to admit I'm wrong. Not that it really mattered. I just thought that we'd meet another character, but she's actually connected to somebody. And it actually ended up being probably the better story within this episode. But it's hollow. It's all hollow because we introduced a new companion and we're getting to know him through 6 episodes. And it's really rushed and contrived. Yaz still sits there better than anybody else. They've given her a lot to do. There was a lot of weeping angels in this, and something happens at the end that's pretty big. But they're all jumping through their own timelines. The Doctor talks to the Maury and says, hey, I got to help my friends. Let's work together and let's hide my friends and we'll try to work this out. So then the Doctor gets put into one of her memories that she doesn't remember. And she and all of the companions, now, the way each character is perceiving other people in their timeline is they're seeing Dan, they're seeing Yaz, they're seeing Vinder, but they're actually other people. And it's always blinking on and off. But the Doctor is on a raid for the division of the Temple of Atropos, and they're going after the Ravengers. And that is Swarm and Azure, but Swarm in a different form, the form we saw him as he was imprisoned. And they have the Passenger, which a lot of people thought was Omega. Turns out it's not. And we all want Omega to come back, but not in this series. No. No mention or sight of Rose, even though her name was dropped with the Outpost. Maybe she'll show up. Now, they had said that the first female Doctor of Color, played by Jo Martin, would not show up in this series, but she did. She did. So as the Doctor is raiding the Temple of Atropos, she sees a reflection, and she sees the first I got to remember this one, the first female Doctor of Color, played by Jo Martin, in her reflection. And they have a little conversation about jumping into each other's timelines and how it can screw things up. Now, all of her companions are, it's Dan. I'm going to get names wrong. It's Dan, Yaz, and Vinder, but it's not really them. Dan is actually, we find out later, the Carvanista, the dog man. Oh, and they raid. They raid the temple where Swarm and Azure have thrones, and they have multiple passengers. We find out that the passengers are actually prisons filled with millions of people. Millions and millions of minds, I guess, or souls or whatever. And they kill a couple of them. So the Doctor's trying to work all this out. Belle, our new character, is working her way to the person she loves. We live through Vinder's worst memory, and we find out the reason he was banished to an outpost is he observed some corruption from the politician he was assigned to. It was a job he really wanted, apparently. And on the first job, the Grand Serpent was doing some negotiations, and they had to turn off a recording, which is against their constitution or whatever. And he planned some devious stuff. He wanted some of his political opponents to have an accident. And he decided to report that to his superior, and his superior banished him to his outpost. So that's why. And his final message, or he was allowed one message from the outpost, and it was to some girlfriend or boyfriend, we didn't know at the time, saying that, hey, I'm not going to see you for a while. I've been banished. I love you. So That comes into play later. We see Cybermen who like to tell everyone their plans while they're dying. Bell defeats a legion or a battalion of Cybermen quite easily. And yeah, the Bell scenes were so fanfic. It's just, oh God. There's no real stakes because you don't really know what's going on. It feels like there's something going on, and some of the stuff seems like it's interesting because it's moving. Scenes are changing fast, but it's just Chris Chibnall throwing everything he can at something. And, maybe if he did this at first, they would have been able to retain ratings, but they can't retain ratings now. And just because something is less bad, it doesn't make it good. But this is certainly less bad than the previous 2 seasons. But as many of us have stated, once you've done something as damaging as The Timeless Children, people are just done. They're just done. I get emails. I get you kind people in the chat saying, hey, we're just watching you and Az and other people rather than actually watching the show. And that's good. You save yourself an hour. I did enjoy Country File. I watched Country File before the show, and it was a Veterans Day episode, and it was pretty interesting. They didn't go on and on about Brexit and the environment. I thought it was actually a very good episode. Then I watched a little bit of that dancing show that comes off of after Doctor Who, and that's the first time I've ever seen that. Somebody got sent home, and then I turned it off. But I used to love British TV, obsess over it. Back before we had easy access to the BBC, I would find it through forums. I would search the forums and find a link to somebody broadcasting. I don't know how, but broadcasting the BBC and broadcasting BBC Radio. I'd listen to it all the time religiously. All right. So yeah, we were talking about the show. So they're raiding the temple, and the Doctor decides to hide all of her companions in their own memories. But they're jumbling around because time is fractured. Again, Vinder's reliving his worst memory. Dan is talking to his date, although the scenes keep changing around him. And we learn a little bit more about Dan, that he was going to get married 15 years ago, and then she left, just making him more of a loser. It's just, they can't help themselves. They really can't effing help themselves. The other white guy in it's a complete dick, and it's just it's I laugh at this point because it's so predictable. It's like, oh, that guy's gonna be a son of a bitch, that guy's gonna die, that guy, if he's around at any point, he's just an idiot. So it's just a replacement for Graham, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the actor. I'm not familiar with the guy. I guess he's familiar with you guys in the UK. I think he's probably well suited for his role. I don't know. So what is going on? Well, we don't know. The Doctor spends most of the time in the time storm trying to reset everything. Yaz keeps seeing weeping angels, and there was one kind of interesting, cool thing. A weeping angel comes out of a video game, which was kind of cool, and a weeping angel comes out of a cell phone, which is kind of cool. That's at the end, though, so we'll get to that. Swarm and Azure monologue, but we really don't learn anything. We learn once again that they know the Doctor, but the Doctor doesn't know them. But as the Doctor is raiding this temple, she's actually the first female Doctor of color, played by Jo Martin. And we know this is a memory from her past that she doesn't know. So it got me to thinking. I'm like, well, there's alternate universes. We learned in New Who that the Time Lords had locked them off, but there have been many previous occasions where they've gone to alternate universes, where World War II was still being fought, I believe, in the 60s. The Roman Empire had taken over everything. An alternate doctor was a dictator. So there are alternate doctors in alternate universes, but it's not something wisely so that they really explained in detail. It's just a thing that pops up for a particular episode. And that's the beauty of Doctor Who, is the real big stuff they don't explain in detail, and that leaves the rest up to our imagination, and that's what makes this show so fascinating. One of the things behind the success of Jaws, initially they wanted to have the shark in it a lot more, but Steven Spielberg decided, after talking to, I believe, John Milius and George Lucas, or I can't remember who he talked to, but they both said, hey, leave it to the imagination. Less is more. And that's what made Jaws such a damn successful movie, and made the shark so effing scary, is we didn't see much of it. Sauron in Lord of the Rings, we don't see Sauron. And the rest is up to our imagination, and it's great. The mystery, the reason the show's called Doctor Who, is we knew little pieces here and there that they would drop hints, once a year, maybe twice a season or series. And no real fan ever wanted to know the truth, ever. And you could fill in, and you could just, until for as many seasons as you want, fill in little blanks and never fully explain it. Because at this point, with this many years in, it can't be explained. There is no writer on earth who could explain it that would satisfy most of the fandom. And take a poll tomorrow, and they would all say, no, we don't want to know. We don't want to know. I have a feeling we're stepping towards the double down and knowing more than we want to know. And the reason they did the Timeless Children, of course, is to say, well, we need to tell more stories. We need to make it more accessible to modern audiences. Basically saying that Doctor Who wasn't accessible before, even though it's one of the biggest sci-fi TV shows in history, with one of the bigger fandoms, top 5, top 3 for sure. And one of the, if not the first fandom, one of the first for sure. So everybody, goes to, Yaz, Dan, and Vinder all go through their little timelines. And then the Doctor is pretty much shut down by the Maury. The Maury said, hey, we've hit everybody. Your time is going to break you. We've got to send you back. And the Doctor's like, I want to see one more thing. I want to see the end. Just show me one more thing. And then the Doctor ends up with some old lady who starts monologuing and telling her that the flux was created. And the flux was created because of the Doctor. And then she tells the Doctor to go away. So who is this old lady? Is it the Master? Is it Rassilon? I mean, who knows? Is it Omega? Is it the Doctor? I have a feeling the answer to all of this is it's going to be the Doctor. The Doctor obviously is centered around this. That's a very Moffat thing to do. And I think Chibnall might do that, but I honestly do not care enough to go find out. There was a time where I would go through Reddit, look for spoilers, but now I just don't care. I just take it as it is and don't think about it very much other than reviewing it. So we get to the end, and they are able to. Oh, by the way, Swarm and Azure were caught by Joe Martin's Doctor, and that's how they got imprisoned. So we moved to now, to present day, I guess, and they are able to put the Maury back. But Swarm says, the other version of Swarm says, well, time has already been disrupted, damage done. And then they take their one passenger that's left and disappear. They killed all the other passengers. They get back on the TARDIS. They bring Vinder on the TARDIS. They're going to take him home. And they take Vinder home, and his planet is decimated, but he wants to stay and look for his love. And we find out his love is Bel. So Bel has been searching for him. He is going to be searching for her. The doctor leaves them a little device. Press 0. You can contact me. That story ended. I thought it was good. It was like the one compelling thing in the show. Except Bel was a total Mary Sue. It's just like there's no stakes. So again, like when they just tell a competent story, it doesn't necessarily make it good. It's just it's just something that isn't shit. So they get back into the TARDIS. The doors are still opening in weird spots. And a weeping angel comes through Yaz's phone. And a weeping angel, which can't make eye contact with you. All right. So that's the whole point of don't blink. And they stay in stasis because they're quantum locked. I can't remember what the exact term was, but that's why you don't blink, because if you stare at them, they remain statues and they can't do anything. Except this weeping angel, which apparently can look at the doctor and look at Yaz and look at Dan and take over the TARDIS. Now, I had a theory, and I don't care if it's right or wrong, that the weeping angels might actually be helping, but they probably aren't. I'm probably wrong about that. I just don't care. But a weeping angel takes over the TARDIS, and that's where it ends. So much was compacted into a single episode. It just feels uber rushed, obviously, because they are ending this series. The Doctor's done in, I believe is it 5 more episodes? It's 5 more episodes. We got 3 more this season. We got a couple specials. And this success of a Doctor didn't even get 3 full seasons. Now, they blamed this shortened season on the Coof. But all the other shows have full-length seasons. So I'm a little skeptical. We did hear prior to the Coof that they were thinking about splitting the season. They actually Starry Eye Girl sent me this poll that they sent out saying, what do you guys think about a split season? Well, not that it would have helped the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen. But one of the things that has hurt this series going back to the Capaldi era is the year breaks in between. And it definitely didn't help the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, with all of the delays prior to the Coof. Now, what was behind those delays? Well, a lot of inexperience. So compound inexperience with new Coof regulations, which are pretty strict, and they are one of the reasons that Disney delayed a lot of their slate. Is it's each production cost basically rounded up 30% more, and it's taking 30% longer because there's a new cottage industry in the entertainment industry, and it is Coof regulation. And then we have the Diversity and Inclusivity Initiative, which is bringing in a lot of new people who are not experienced. And what I've heard is it's been a bit of a nightmare when it comes to shooting. We'll see. And that probably had a lot to do with Russell T Davies going, yeah, Bad Wolf will be making Doctor Who from now on. And I don't think Bad Wolf is under those conditions. Not saying I'm pretty sure Bad Wolf is probably a pretty inclusive and diverse place, which nobody's against. But I am a strong proponent of individualism. And if whoever is the best person of the job for the job should get it. Uh, and despite diversity and inclusivity initiatives, there is still a form of there's tons of gatekeeping and nepotism in entertainment. Ask Alec Baldwin and that armor there. So was this this has been Chibnall's best season because it's less bad. Because it's less bad. Oh, I've got the wrong mouse going there. So my theory could be wrong. Again, how could they fix this? Well, alternate universes, alternate doctors, crossing memories, whatever. There could be different doctors in alternate universes. I don't know. Don't really care at this point. They could reset time and we could find out the timeless children. I think a lot of people were hoping that the timeless children was just going to be a lie from the master, but there is no master as far as we know in this series. Now, there could be. There's still 3 episodes left, so we don't know. We have very few answers. And other than, like, we finally know, like, okay, the flux is engineered. It's not a natural thing. I figured that. And we find out it's from the doctor. There are ways to fix this. The timeless children, I don't think they're going to do it. I'll believe it when I see it. But again, when your star is the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, it just brings the show down. She has no charisma, no presence. When she tries to get tough, you just chuckle. You go, "Oh, look at the little cute." You know what? Her best performance in the entire series, when she was playing somebody else, she blipped up. She ended up being. We saw Az as a Yaz. Did I say Az? Yaz. I said Az. We saw Yaz as a cop. Actually saw her as a cop, and she was in a patrol car, and her partner was the doctor, and she was complaining about some Satsuma or something like that. And that was her best performance when she wasn't playing the doctor. She was just playing a friend in a sitcom, essentially, which I think is her future. I brought back the boiler too. The bowler. Why did I say boiler? I don't have a boiler. Thankfully, at 52. Stetson's Gold for £5 British. Doctor Who has become a shart on a turd, wrapped up in some poop, sprinkled on my brain. And that's better writing than Chibnall has produced. Yes. This will not be an era that is watched again or talked about. It will be one that is forgotten. Unfortunately, it is damaging. Again, I was completely for, all right, fine. You guys wanted a female doctor. So they finally did it. Are you happy? Of course you're not, because it didn't work. It just flat out didn't work. And we could have had, well, it's because of this, and it's because of that. It's because of this. It's because of that. No, it's because it never was going to work. And all of the evidence is on my side. All of the data is on my side, because the ratings went from, what was it, 18 million people in the UK, a country of 66 million people, watched that effing show. And now it's 4 to 5. It's on a better day for viewing than it used to be, which was Saturday. And she is pulling Capaldi ratings now. And let's face it, Capaldi, great actor, did the best he could. Freaking season 10 was about just as bad as anything from the Chibnall era. It was pretty bad. Overkill 161 leaves a poop emoji for 99 cents. I would say that's accurate. That's accurate. You know, I was looking at our friend Ian out there. He's a big Doctor Who action figure collector and has a massive Doctor Who action figure collection. Probably, I don't know. I would definitely say it's probably bigger than mine. Mine's pretty big. But I mean, I haven't seen anybody else's collection, haven't been comparing collections, but mine's pretty big. I have a pretty massive collection of Doctor Who action figures. And he's always putting them on display and they look great. And I'm just thinking, man, you can get them for cheap now. The collectible market has died. The value of stuff has gone down. Things aren't selling out. Dr. Big Chief had to change their manufacturer to save money for the 1/6 scale. And they've had a lot of trouble getting stuff out. Big Finish had to, they made changes. Doctor Who Magazine made changes. The comics have made changes because everything is degrading at this point. And, look no further than Star Trek, this has been happening, Doctor Who and Star Trek have been on parallel courses pretty much their entire existence. But it was always one of which was the theme of this episode. What was Bell's mission? It was love. Well, it was love and togetherness and bringing people together. Now it's divisive, it's mean, it's ideological, and it's dying. We have season 4 of Star Trek Discovery coming out this Thursday. I can't imagine anybody wanting to watch that. I just can't. And they are both on the same trajectory, which is straight down. And the damage, we are fans because we love Doctor Who. What we've been trying to say is, hey, you're ruining this thing. You're damaging it beyond repair. Well, we're at the beyond repair part. And when you have a science fiction franchise, they cost a lot of money and they require licensing. And when you kill the licensing, you kill a show. The show has lived quite well off the New Who era. And now we have to wait till 2023 for it to be fixed. I'm sure there'll be a certain amount of hype leading up to the Russell T Davies era, but it has everything to do with how he's going to approach it and who is the next Doctor. Now, somebody has said that he plans to honor the timeless children. I found a quote. I didn't find a quote that said exactly that. Now, I might have missed it. I did find a quote where he talked about it and he just said, hey, Chibnall's doing a great job over there. And I can see how you can interpret it that way. But they haven't earned the benefit of the doubt. They have to show us if they have to earn the fandom back. I've watched it since 1965 when I was born, and I will continue even if I scream at it. Hope survives this time, says Chris Hawley for £5 British. And hey, that is your prerogative. Absolutely. Especially when you've been watching it that long. I think that's a large portion of the audience in the UK is the people who have just been watching it forever. OG Bowler Gary. That's it. It is a name in a language I cannot even read. But it's £17.99 British. That's proper money. Thank you. Thank you. As couldn't make this show. And it's not obligatory for him either. I imagine he'll at least make the finale, which is only 3 weeks away. I have been working on a Marvel video I'll probably work on a Doctor Who video and getting prepared to get the hell out of here, which I can't wait. I think I can show you guys one thing. If it is it in the downloads? There it is. Well, where'd it go now? Wonder if I got rid of it. Oh, well, I did. I was going to show you a picture of my new studio. Oh, there it is right there. This won't dox where I live, but it's not very exciting photo, but this is going to be the new Nerdrotic studio. You're seeing it here first exclusively before I cover it in action figures and all kinds of decor. But here you go. There it is. I love it's perfect. Those ceilings are perfect for soundproofing. Going to get some interesting lighting in there, and it's nice and big. It's got its own bathroom. So that is the new Nerdrotic studio. So exciting. Oh, what I have been doing though, I got to thank the show for one thing. I have been cleansing the palate a little bit with New Who. So just going back and started at Rose, moving my way forward. God, I love Christopher Eccleston. He was so good that one season. I think it's, I'm sure a lot of you out there wanted more. I wanted more, but like, if you think about it, that one season, it's kind of perfect just with one and done. I think that's kind of how it was meant to be. And I remember when he left and then he ended up on Heroes in season 2 as like the invisible guy with the beard. And it was all the rage in my comic store. Everybody was talking about that. The good old days. As I've said before, the stuff we're watching right now, a lot of it was made a couple of years ago, a year ago, with the mentality in the entertainment industry of a couple of years ago and a year ago. And to state the obvious, which I do here quite often on YouTube, it's important, okay, because you have to. We live in a different world now than we did back then, and I think people's thirst for escapism is stronger than ever, and that's why a lot of people have just gone into the past and they're watching old stuff, they're reading old stuff, and that's good. I think a good barometer will be Ghostbusters if it's good. If they just decide, like I said earlier, if they just decide to make a good movie, and I think that would be it would be on point, considering 2016 Ghostbusters was one of the movies, along with The Last Jedi, that really started this. And of course, then, Doctor Who Series 11, Star Trek Discovery, kind of the main battlegrounds in the entertainment culture war, which has spilled out to real life and now just become a full-blown culture war that we all saw coming in entertainment. I think fan service. I said it a year ago. You know what? Just make stuff that's fun. People are there's so much divisiveness right now, and it's the entertainment industry is partially responsible for this by really backing up a lot of just preposterous theories, critical race ones, intersectionalism. Marvel is probably, just as bad as Doctor Who, if not worse, at this point with that. And you're starting to see the tide turn. Now, can our franchises survive? I think it's very unlikely, but there is a chance, of course. I think if any of them do, have to be a hard reboot, which I'd hate to see in Doctor Who. I don't know if that will work. Just don't know if that will work. But we'll find out. We've got again 3 episodes to go. I just want to find out. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It could be the Master who designed the Flux. It could be this brand new villain, Swarm. Swarm could be the Master. Who is his sister? I don't know. It could be Valiard. It could be Omega. It could be Rassilon. It could be fucking nobody. It could be Rose. I don't fucking know. But what I can promise you is we'll find out in the last 5 minutes of the 6th episode. That's pretty much how they wrapped up all the Star Trek episodes too. So, I mean, if you're not watching Star Trek Discovery, this is pretty much the format of the show is they throw a million things at you with no real, the connective tissue is just razor thin. And then they throw emotions at you that really have no context. Star Trek Discovery lately, there's been just a lot of crying. There's people crying for no fucking reason. You're my best friend. They start crying. It's to make you think, that look at this is deep. It's an emotional thing. No, it's actually the most shallow thing out there. The human depth of a Dixie cup. Do you guys in the UK know what a Dixie cup is? It's a little paper cup. I don't even know if they fucking make them anymore. I might be dating myself. It's a little paper cup. Let's see. What do we got here? We got the old question. Aliens came down and asked you for 3 films to understand humanity, or at least the U.S. What is your quick choices? Could Big Trouble, Blues Brothers, and Deer Hunter cover it? Cover humanity? Oh, God. Okay. These aren't my favorite films in the world, but if you want films that would cover the broad section of humanity, Forrest Gump. You got to go through historical films, and Forrest Gump is just Forrest running through history. So I would definitely say that one. Oh, that's a tough question. Godfather, the whole series, just because it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And Fight Club. That's just off the top of my head. I don't know. There's probably better ones. Fight Club is like one of my favorite movies. Gives you my perspective anyway. But like Gone with the Wind, some classic, but it'd have to be historical. Humanity is far too complex to be answered in 3 films. I can recommend some things to describe the era we have been in the last year. Lost. I would just say Lost. Lost. But thank you for the $10 super chat, Zach Zalek. And then we got a $20 super chat from Zach Zalek. Gary, congrats on the move. Will you review Ghosts of the Civil Undead? It is not a cosmic or sci-fi film, but your input would be amazing. It's an Aussie 1980s punk mode dystopian prison movie. Can you wrangle Drinker? Yeah, I'll watch it. That sounds fun. Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing. I'm going to make the announcement when it's like, we still have some I's to dot and some T's to cross, but I'm bringing in somebody who is how much do I want to say? That person's going to strangle me, but I'm going to say is a big player. Bringing somebody on board who's a big player, who's going to help me do more stuff. And I'll be able to double, possibly triple my output of content, which is great because I basically I do everything as far as the video content is concerned. And my, Perry runs Nerdrotic Daily, but he's going to be editing for me more. X-Ray Girl, of course, does the super chats for Friday Night Tights and Real BBC. She'll be doing a little more. And my wife handles all the finances, handles all the merchandising while she's looking for a house, while she's still doing hair. So yeah, she's a machine. That one. And we got a 99-cent Overkill 161. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. I appreciate it. I do. Thank you for the support. I was thinking long and hard before I did these reviews if I wanted to do them or not. Because the Timeless Children was the deal breaker. But you see the eternal optimism of fandom. And I appreciate that. And I really don't want to ever put that out. As discouraging as things can get, it's that eternal optimism that we need. So just be prepared. Hey, don't get too attached. Manage your expectations, and we'll see what happens. And you would hope that the powers that be, it's not going to happen, but we're just talking pie in the sky stuff right now, would listen to the vast majority of fans. Again, you don't have to listen to me. My channel, I am just one fan of many, and this channel is nothing without my compatriots here in fandom. Listen to them. What the Access Media loves to do to manipulate the situation is focus on the few bad apples who I don't know if are even fans, who are out there, throwing out horrific terms, but that's a precious few. Who the fandom, the part of the fandom that's been the most vile is the pro Jody fandom. Absolute vile. So you would hope that an individual human being would objectively look at that and go, are we playing to the baddies? Are we playing to the baddies? I mean, they say, therefore, inclusivity and diversity and empathy, but they don't act like it. They act like they're for segregation and silencing voices. Actions speak louder than words. But I think as long as Piers Wenger is involved, that guy is all about the ideology. So I don't know what say he has over Russell T Davies. I don't know how much power he has. Apparently he has a lot of creative power over the show. But again, that's a couple years off. That's a 60th anniversary. And I ask you, I mean, like, the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker will be in that 60th anniversary for sure. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch that. I just don't know. Let me get caught up. What's up, Wes Moody? I saw you in there. Do you think RTD and Bad Wolf will also go woke for 3 Canadian pesos from Face of Bo Andrew? I think there is a strong possibility. I think one of the reasons RTD did come back was to help save the BBC, but he wants to do it his way. So, obviously, I mean, because he's talked about it, and Stephen Moffat's talked about it, and Christopher Eccleston has talked about it. is the BBC interfered all the time. Like they interfered all the damn time. So I'm sure it was the BBC crawling back to Russell T Davies. Russell T Davies had given a few speeches, talking about how to save the BBC. And he's for some stuff we're not, right? But he was really making an argument that the BBC still needs to charge people and it's part of the British culture and we can't go to streaming. But like fighting off streaming is like fighting a tsunami. You just can't. You can't. Streaming is the future. It's on its way. It's going to dilute entertainment. It already has. And the BBC is so far behind. Keep in mind, you guys know this, but maybe I don't think the reality has set in with broadcasters that they are dinosaurs and the streaming services are the meteor descending on them. Same with dinosaur media. As much as they try to hide dislikes or remove channels, you can't stop independent content creators from just absolutely taking over media. You can't unmake the soup unless you just shut down YouTube, which they can't do. And there's going to be other services out there. But Netflix is so far ahead and Amazon is so far ahead, but Netflix in particular, they were the first. They own all the patents. That's why a lot of menus look different. It's because Netflix owns a bunch of patents on that stuff. They have the infrastructure. Now, they have fallen a bit. They have lost a lot of their content, but, their 4K looks better. But they also have effing cuties. But yes, I think there is a good possibility they will go woke. I would say more intersectional than woke. I hope to God I'm wrong, and I'll be so happy to be wrong on that one. But thank you for the question. But it's the best possible option for showrunner out there. It was one that I think very few of us thought even possible. I'm sure there was, again, pie in the sky stuff, but I don't think anybody actually thought that was going to happen. Az is calling me. Hello?
Hey, Pepper Bear, how you doing?
I'm live.
Oh shit. I just woke up and I thought you wouldn't be live.
I'll call you back. Okay. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. What was it like?
Oh, what was the show? It was random shit with one decent story thrown in. They added 2 more characters. They told you where the flux. Well, they told you the flux was created to take out the Doctor. That was the big revelation. But it was just a bunch of random shit, mystery box garbage, with basically a nostalgia bait ending, jangling some keys.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, I'll you do a show.
I will. All right, buddy. Bye-bye. Az, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I'm not like, if there are, there are friends of mine out there who are somewhat enjoying it. That's fine. We can disagree on stuff. That's the one thing I would like to point out. Because I don't want to give too much attention to our detractors, but they really misconstrue a lot. They are disingenuous. They lie about what we say. I don't make videos about other people who like Doctor Who. I don't single them out. I don't sit there and stream snipe them. I don't go over their. I could EFAP the shit out of some videos, but I don't. Because everybody has their say, and that's fine. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't concern me at all. And if people are enjoying anything, if somebody's enjoying the Eternals, if somebody's enjoying Shang-Chi, don't let me piss on your enjoyment. I can't. I don't have that kind of power. I don't. I just have my opinion. on stuff. Would I think differently of this if the Timeless Children didn't exist? Maybe, but it does. Would I think differently of this if this was a male doctor? No, I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. If you put a male doctor into Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, I would think it was just as much shit as it is with Jodie Whittaker. That has nothing to do with it, because outside of, I might be wrong on this one, 4 lines in all 3 series, you wouldn't know she's a woman other than looking at her. But she doesn't act like one. She's not written like one. And apparently she's still into women. He is still into women. It's never felt like Doctor Who. There's never been a moment that, like it's been, and if it was brief, like when Claire showed up. That felt Doctor Who-ish, but it's never, ever really felt like it. It's a pale imitation. It's fanfic at best. It was done to bring in a broader audience, and all it did was alienate people. And I'll just keep saying this. Every time you hear, we need to make things more accessible, more relatable, fewer people show up. I don't make the fucking rules. But if people enjoy the stuff, enjoy it. I don't care. But if you really want something to change, if you truly, truly want something to change, you got to put the wallet away. I don't buy any. I mean, I'm a massive Doctor Who collector. I still buy stuff. I buy it secondhand, and it's usually older stuff. I'm picking up some vintage stuff here and there. It's been a while. But I get everything secondhand now, if I'm going to get it at all, because I'm not going to give the BBC any money. And I've heard a lot of people have done that, and that's good. Thanks again, Face of Bo Andrew. I appreciate it. Fantastic Mr. Knox. The only thing close to Doctor Who I got into was a show called Torchwood. I know Doctor Who fandom are a hell of a bunch, so I'm not surprised if they're pissed. I don't know anyone who's a Whittaker Doctor Who fan. I don't either. I know of other YouTubers that are a fan, but I'm not sure if they're fans. They seem to make, well, it's not as bad. They seem to spend most of their reviews that I have seen, and I've seen a few. I check in. It's making excuses. It's just a bunch of making excuses. Thank you for the 10 Australian dollars. Doctor Who used to be the best fandom. The best. It was just a fun place to be. But the powers that be, they're either responsible, or there are political parties, sects, organizations that want to take away our comfort. That is part of, I don't know how into it I want to get on a Doctor Who review, but that is part of tearing down our culture and our system, is taking away our amenities, taking away our comforts, the things we like to spend an hour or two with after a hard day at work. They want that gone. They want everybody miserable. They want to point out how miserable everything is and how terrible everything is. And isn't it amazing that so many, not all, hashtag not all, but so many in Hollywood working their dream jobs seem so miserable all the time and are always pointing out what's wrong with the world. And yes, there is stuff that is wrong. There is lots of wrongs out there. I think most of the time we're not focusing on the right wrongs. And we're hyper-focusing on a system that they want torn down. And they are doing it through everything. Do I think there's one puppet master? No. I've said this before. I think it's a lot of like-minded people who have gotten rid of any opposition. There always has to be an opposition for balance. There is a way to use the curator to reset the timeless children mess. If RTD wanted to eliminate the 13th Doctor completely, I wrote a treatment. Oh, there is a way. Even with the flux, there is a way. Like I said earlier, I was willing to just, you know what? We'll sit through the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, and when her era's over, I'll check back in. This is before I truly realized what was going on. And this, you know what, all of this woke Hollywood, what's going on in our schools, it's all from people abandoning these things or being quiet. And this is what happens when you walk away. When we walk away, appeasement, shit doesn't go away. Things aren't going to blow over. This has to be fixed manually, individually by us. And we use what we can, our voices. Again, I am just a conduit. I'm just a conduit for you guys. I am just a fan. No better, no worse. Just a fan. Speaking my mind. And thankfully, you know, I found all you guys. And you found my channel. And I appreciate that. What is the best way to get RTD's attention? Says Chumley 73 for 250. I don't know. I would say I know the vast majority of the opposition to the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, and more importantly, the Timeless Children, has been polite, has been nothing but polite. Because, hey, you know, a lot of people have been saying, hey, we were on board with the female Doctor. We were going to give it a shot. But it's just not working. You gave it a good try. It's just not working. So it's time. And you know, we really don't appreciate a lot of the things that you've introduced to the fandom and to the show. And that is the BBC's responsibility. That is Chris Chibnall's responsibility. Jodie Whittaker's attitude towards the role and towards the fandom is her responsibility. Be it through being naive, not a studious worker, not really understanding what she was taking on. Any female Doctor coming in would know that it's going to be tough for you. You're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to get a lot. Hindsight is 2020, but I was saying this at the time. Jodie should have been on a tour for the first 2 years, getting to know fans, ingratiating herself. She never did that. She never ingratiated herself to the show. She started off on the wrong foot, saying that Doctor Who is a practice in the male gaze, disrespecting everything that came before her. Just spat on it. The Craig Lee Lawrence Experience. Welcome to the membership. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let's get down here. Oh, what? I don't want to miss that. Finally able to watch and enjoy the stream. Been busy with work and life. Love you, Gary. Saw Dog, what's up? Thank you for the $20. I'm glad you've been busy with work and life. Remember, you know, last year when I was live streaming a lot, you know, because we were all locked down, and you guys really helped me through that time. That was great. If I made you laugh through that time, that was great. But I am very, very happy to hear people are working and getting back to it. And I was Saw Dog. I went to the gym yesterday, and I asked the manager, you know, because I go to a gym called 24 Hour Fitness, yet it closes at 9:00 at night. And I do like to, I occasionally work out twice a day. And what I do is my cardio in the morning, and then like whatever weights or punching bag I want to do at night. Well, I haven't been able to do the night stuff because they close at 9. So I was patient for a little while. Then I went up, hey, are you guys going to open later? And they're like, we can't find people. We've had a job fair. People don't show up to the job fair. There's help wanted signs everywhere. So there's a lot of people out of work, and then there's a lot of jobs available. And that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. I'm glad to see you're back at work. Thank you for being back at work. We appreciate it as a society. And quite frankly, what I hear, what Az has told me, is the UK has handled things a lot better than we have. Not a surprise. As far as COOF and stuff, I mean, you did have that big lockdown, but there's no passports, and it looks like you're getting back to life, and I hope you do. Can't wait to go over there. Give you guys a visit. I miss it. Cornelius Brunius for $7 says, rest in peace, X-Men, the animated series. Even if they get some of the original people back, they will still have to bend the knee to the throne of woke. Yes, your worst possible nightmare could be your favorite thing is going to be adapted now. So not only do we have the X-Men animated series being brought back from Disney, not Marvel, because Marvel doesn't exist. You know, for a while I was, I called Disney Star Wars, and I was calling it Disney Marvel. It is now just Disney. And it's funny is all the trades are starting to call it Disney Marvel now. Yeah, so Jar Jar Abrams will be producing a reimagined Batman the Animated Series with Bruce Timm. So it's going to look like Batman the Animated Series. And Bruce Timm came out and said it's going to be more Batman the Animated Series than the original animated series. And he's going to be able to put in more modern and adult plots and themes. We all know what that means. Harley Quinn cartoon. Look no further than the Harley Quinn cartoon, which is just woke drivel. I'm sorry about you, but you do have the X-Men animated series made more comic. It's the one entity outside of comics themselves that made the most comic fans, period. It made a generation of X-Men fans, making it the best-selling comic book of all time. And you know what Marvel did? You know what Disney did when they bought Marvel? They destroyed the X-Men first thing because they didn't have the film rights. So they decided to lower their priority. They decided to diminish them. They did the same thing with the Fantastic Four as well. And they tried to make the Inhumans the X-Men because they own that property. Now, David Gabriel, whose name came up lately, is a guy I talked to at retail summits. And he told me this was coming. Everything we're seeing now, he said, I didn't know it at the time, but when he said, we are going to make the movies, he said, we're going to make the comics reflect the movies, not the movies reflect the comics. At the time, I just thought, okay, they're going to draw Tony Stark like Robert Downey Jr. and they're going to draw Chris Evans or draw Captain America like Chris Evans. No. After time went on, I understood what he was telling me. David Gabriel is not a dumb man. He famously came out and said in 2017, and everybody misinterpreted this, but I'll tell you exactly what he meant. He said, what we're told is because the all new, all different Marvel wasn't selling. It was a massive fucking failure. And he came out and said, what we were told is audiences don't want diversity. They don't want inclusivity. And we thought we had some real good stories, but he was calling out the retailers because he had just gone to a retail summit and the retailers got on his ass. They're like, hey, we are done with all of this diversity crap. And what Marvel had done is they had gotten rid of all of their heavy hitters. They made Cap a fucking Nazi and they replaced them all with Sam Wilson became Captain America. We had female Thor. They just did too much all at once, kind of like what Marvel is doing now. So when David Gabriel came out and made that statement, he wasn't admitting any kind of failure. He was throwing retailers under the bus. And believe me, they heard about it. And he worded it so poorly that the woke mob came after him anyway, because they didn't understand the nuance of what he was saying, which was throwing fucking retailers and customers under the bus, basically calling them racist, going, well, what we're hearing, listen to tone. What we're hearing is customers don't like diversity and inclusivity. Bigots. We tried to introduce them, but the bigots weren't reading them, and the bigots wouldn't sell them. That's what he was saying. And that's exactly how Doctor Who has approached their audience. That's exactly why people were pissed when the first female doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, came out and said that Doctor Who is a practice in the male gaze. She basically said every story that was written before she showed up, every fan who enjoyed it is just a big fracking misogynist. Watch my show now, okay? Lethal Lightning. What's up, dude? What time did the man go to the dentist? Tooth hurty. Oh. You know, it's just because you're in the prison island of Australia. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. I should have given you this. But I'll give you this. Go check out Lethal Lightning. He's from Australia. I wish I had a kangaroo picture to pull up right now, but I don't. Lethal's a good guy, though. It's just not very good at telling jokes. That's a pretty good dad joke, though. I'm actually gonna rip that off and try it on my son. He'll probably flip me off for it. Hail Lethal Lightning. Again, he's got a channel. Go check him out. Good dude. Got rid of opposition and crushed all joy along the way. M. Daly for $5. Well said. Well said. Very interesting conversation I had at the meetup in Arizona with a lot of great people, but a young man, I can say that now because I'm old. So a young man came up to me and said, hey, you know, I used to be an SJW. I used to, you know, he was, we'll just say he's not white. And he was part of that raging woke mob. And through watching our stuff, he found out that we weren't the boogeyman, the boogeymen that they said we were. And he started listening to what we were actually saying. And basically we radicalized him. And I'm all for radicalizing people with common sense. And it was great to hear that. Doesn't matter how you get here. You just understand that we're the vast majority. We're the people, you know, we're going to disagree on individual shows. I mean, Lethal likes Brie Larson, thinks she's hot. I guess there's somebody for everyone. I mean, I guess Lethal's turned on by Caveman Toe. I'm not really sure. But hey, to each his own. To each his own. But Lethal and I like the Snyder Cut. So there you go. But what he said, by the way, what he said is when he finally woke up to all that and started listening to us, he was much happier. He started laughing more and having more fun. And he realized how depressed and miserable he was because he was constantly being told he was marginalized. Everything is bad. The system needs to be crushed because it's out to get you. It's against you, and you'll never have a chance in it. So it basically tells you automatically abandon all hope from life. Just don't even try. Who would want to be on that side? What the heck is that? I don't know what that is. Caligula, welcome to the membership. I appreciate it. Mr. Buttcrack Media for 5 Canadian pesos. Hey, Gary, will you be having Doomcock to your new studio? Maybe. Depends. I plan to have guests come over if they want, especially the ones in Texas. You never know. Eric July, Comics Division has committed. I think Ryan Kinnell is going to come out and visit me once I get settled. I want to get Alex Jones in my studio. That's a goal. That is a goal. And Quarter Black Garrett lives in Texas. A lot of people live in Texas. My nerdy home lives in Texas. So, and I think a lot more. But yeah, the studio is going to be made to have guests. Thank you for the good question. Good question. The Craig Lee Lawrence experience. Thank you for your services and honesty to the fandom. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's all I have. That's all I have. You know, I've this, if this channel is built on one thing, and believe me, I know it, is its fandom. Fandom comes first. And it's just like the best part of the comic shop, which was sitting there all day. And this is why I put couches and chairs in there and just bullshitting all day about this stuff. It was time. I had time of my life. It was a lot more fun back then because we were just talking about stuff we liked, watching, theorizing about Doctor Who or Game of Thrones. Yeah. And I think back to when Disney bought Marvel, and I asked you guys that. What was your gut reaction to that? Mine was, oh no, comics are dead, and that's what happened. I'll ask you, since this is Doctor Who review, what was your gut react? Was your very first reaction to Russell T Davies being announced? I'll keep an eye on the chat. The fantastic Mr. Knox says, I went to a comic book store not long ago, and we had a discussion about the future of comics. They don't see anyone who they didn't see anyone who buys new stuff, and there is very few. I'm amazed they're still open. Well, comic shops have pivoted. So there are the ones who focus on selling new comics have pivoted towards gaming. And there's still a pretty good market for, I'm not talking about Indiegogo comics, although that's the true indie right now. But the other indie publishers are selling a lot better. So they have made up for that somewhat. The other thing that is selling is back issues. And I think there's more comic shops now than there has been for quite some time that are solely selling back issues. And that's how comic books shops started. They when they started comic book stores, it was just guys selling their collections. They didn't get new comic books. Those were for the newsstands and the 7-Elevens and the gas stations. This is where you can go and fill in your holes. That's what a comic shop is always meant to be, and that's what mine's going to be, by the way. I'll still sell some new comics. I'll sell Eric July's comics. And and I'll support indie creators. Especially indie creators who respect fandom. That would be my priority with choosing what I would sell in my store. I no longer am I going to sell books by creators who disrespect individual fans. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. I know this is a Doctor Who review, but whatever. I don't care where you're from. Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Marvel, DC, Image, don't care. Go after fans. I want nothing to do with you. Because that's how it all started. Whatever started Gamergate, whatever started Comicsgate, whatever started the Fandom Menace, whatever movement we're in now, it all started as a customer movement. What we're dealing with Doctor Who. There's a lot of hashtags out there. I use RIP Doctor Who because I think it's accurate. It's a customer movement, not a creator movement. It's not anything else. It's a customer movement. That's my thing. That's what I do. Don't really concern myself with what other people do, and they can all do their thing, and that's great. But that's my focus, because that's got to play to the strengths, right? What few strengths I have is customer service, because even before the comic shop, I worked in record stores. I sold auto parts. I sold them to customers. I also did wholesale, but I was like customer service. I've been doing it like all my life. in some form or another. So whatever sparked all of those movements, what they were at their core were customer, not consumer movements, not consumer movements, customer movements. Consumer is bad. That's a bad word. I never liked that word. It's accurate to some. There are some people who will just lap up whatever Chibnall puts out there. That's a consumer. Welcome. Is it Jacek? I will say Jacek Gorecki. I don't know why I rolled my R. I just felt like it. Jacek, welcome to the Nerdrotic channel. I appreciate it. You'll be getting a member stream very, very soon. I can't say what day, but it's going to be sooner than later. Hey, J Hardy 0786. Thank you for the $19.99. I appreciate it. You don't have anything to say? All right, now I'm going to go down here and see if you answered. What was your gut reaction to RTD coming back? Gillette learned its lesson, says Grandmaster Jim. This is true. It did. When people spoke up, they learned its lesson. Kevin Smith, have we heard much from him? To reset that, by the way, I really don't give a shit what Kevin Smith did in the He-Man show. I'm not a He-Man fan. I respect the fans who were upset because it was a bait and switch and it was just another established traditional character that just so happened to be white that needed to be degraded for the female character that, if they were just honest and focused on, wouldn't have done as well because they were promised a He-Man show and they got a Teela show. But aside from all that, aside from the ins and outs of the plots or what the He-Man has become, Kevin Smith lied to his fellow nerds. He lied to the paying customer. And why is Kevin Smith famous? He is famous for being a nerd. He is anointed the official nerd of Hollywood, although he has been a creative in Hollywood longer than he was ever a nerd at this point. So he's just another douchey Hollywood director in my eyes. But he betrayed his core audience, the thing that put his ass in Hollywood. And how many lines can we pull from any of his movies where he basically calls out Hollywood? That's how he made his living. And now he sold you all out because he always just wanted to be part of the machine. Not knowing that it really wasn't being uber talented. He's got a talent. I think he's a better speaker. But when he had the nerds back, I liked him. I was fine with him. Never loved the guy, but he betrayed his core audience. That's why I made a video. That's why a lot of people made videos. That's why people were upset. It was way more than just a He-Man thing. It was just like Howard Stern denouncing everything he did in the past. Gary, I just started watching Series 12. I only made it up to 30 minutes into Skyfall Part 2. It is complete shite. The Fellowship has better ideas. Get your content out there. I believe it. I believe in you. Just do it. I am here to help. And that is Ruben Christopher Haynes for $20 again. Ruben has got an inspirational story. He has to live with health problems that you and I, most of us, don't have to live with, which prevents him from, which would normally prevent him from doing stuff that he just does anyway, which is brilliant, including coming to meetups, during the coof. Thanks, Ruben. It's good to see you, bud. And you're right. If you can create something, please do it. And you absolutely need to support independent creators and content. It's always out there. A person you can follow is Chris Gore from G4. He's always trying to point people in the right direction towards a good indie film. And there's a ton of them out there. So that will be somebody to follow if you're looking for independent entertainment. Ian from Rebecca Gold. I do believe he's starting a season 2. I saw on Twitter that he did a read through for season 2 of Rebecca Gold. That's an independently produced web series. Ian's been following the channel for a long time. He's a good guy. Go check that out. But we can't abandon entertainment without a fight. We can't. You could certainly close your wallet and stop buying it, but we can't abandon it because we've basically already done that. Whatever inroads we've made, which are minuscule, we've had to claw for them, but it has caused some change. We have been effective in some cases. Or black pilling's not an option. Rough girl, regardless, any frustrations, true north, in home, rock on nerds, loyalty in numbers, long live the fellowship and long live Rough Girl, who likes to jump out of planes. For $5, thank you, Rough Girl, who's been following this channel for a long, long time. Strength in numbers. We are the majority. We need to start acting like it. The young Yoda became a new member. Welcome, young Yoda. I appreciate it. Oh my Lord. In a couple of months. All I'll have to do is sit down and start the live stream. I'm so excited for this. You have no idea. Manowar 665, the neighbor of the beast, says, who is Howard Stern? Oh, you mean Howard the Cuck? Yeah. Biggest disappointment in my life. Howard Stern was a giant inspiration to me. Him and Art Bell and Jim Rome, the guys I listened to when I was a parts delivery driver back in the 90s. I listened to them religiously every day. And Howard was a man of the people. Did I get a little tired of him talking about private parts every day when the movie came out? Yes, I did. I still love the movie. But then after Private Parts, he bailed on his wife, which, remember, Private Parts was supposed to be a big love letter to his wife. He bailed on his wife, and then he started selling out, went to Sirius, and then became part of the system and just sucked. And sold out every fan who had ever supported him. Kevin Smith has done the same. I was hoping you'd have a subscribe star or something so I could circumvent Mama Susan monthly, but it is what it is. Oh, Caligula for $5. The reason I didn't go to Minds and I shut down, for one, shutting down Subscribe Star and Patreon are fucking difficult. Are very difficult. It's like I guess the best analogy would this for older people. Remember when you had to try to get AOL out of your computer and you just couldn't? It's like it's like spunked all over your computer and you just can't clean it off. That's what Patreon and Subscribe Star are. They are very difficult to stop. I am going to do something through my own website early next year. And I didn't want to send people over to Minds and then send people over to my website. So early next year, we're going to do something through nerdrotic.com that circumvents everybody. And that gives me a place to go if I get shut down. Now, a lot of people are going to get shut down before me. All right. I'm pretty tame compared to some, but it can happen it happened to Salty Cracker. It happened to Josiah. It happened to Alex Jones. It happened to Gavin McGinnis. It's happened to a lot of people, whether you agree with them or not. For one, none of the people I cited to you are white supremacists. Give them a listen. Again, you might not like it. They might just be on the other side of the political aisle, but they are not that thing. But they were painted as that, and then they were silenced. Were they provocative? Sure. No more provocative than we see on the platform. I think it should all stay, no matter how ugly. I think there are certain lines we shouldn't cross, of course. Those ones are obvious. But as far as speech is speech. And the best way to deal with free speech is more speech. And you know who's one of the people who said that? Barack fucking Obama. That's right. He didn't mean it. And he went back on it later because he was reading it off a teleprompter and he probably didn't even internalize what he said. But the man said it. The Rand Man for $1.50. I did enjoy parts of Capaldi's run. I did too. But until the Timeless Children is fixed, I'm telling myself Smith died of old age on Trenzalore. Yep. You could end it with the Doctor is just looking for Gallifrey and he flew off in the TARDIS under the sunset. And you got to see a little bit of Capaldi. Or you can imagine that season 8 somehow fits into that. Because season 8 is mostly good. It has 3 fantastic episodes, like great episodes. 9, not very good. 10, awful. 11, an abomination. 12, an apocalypse. And 13 is picking up dog poop in your backyard. That's what it is. All right. I'm going to find those chats again to see, because I do want to let's read this one and then I'll look for your answers to RTD. The long-term listener, first-time contributor. Oh. Welcome. We'll be gentle. Keep up the fight, Gary. Shout out from the prison island of Australia. Oh, 20 Australian dollars from John Cross. Yes, I feel so bad for you guys, and it did my heart good to see the size of that protest yesterday. If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on in Australia right now is frightening. It's nothing short of frightening. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You don't want to give unilateral power to any premier, president, vice president, or they're just dictator. They're just dictators. So one of the premiers, a governor of one of the states, for lack of a better term. I'm not super familiar with Australia. But basically they're equivalent of a state and they're equivalent of a governor. There's some legislation getting passed that will give that premier unilateral power to just call for a lockdown whenever the fuck they want. They can, if it's an environmental lockdown, in the Bay Area, they keep track of the air. So when it's a spare the air day, they tell you not to light a fire in your fireplace in San Francisco. What's to stop them from saying it's a spare the air day, nobody can drive a car? I'll tell you what stops them. We do. By getting in your car and driving. They don't have the right to tell you not to go to work. They don't have the right to tell you to pay for a bus. They don't have the right to tell you anything unless we give them that. And what we're fighting is each other, because there's so many people who are just fucking scared and they'll comply. Well, your fear doesn't get to impede on my freedom or yours. And we're talking about setting this has zero to do with the COOF. Problem, reaction, solution. Look into it. Oh, I finally get ratioed? I don't give a shit. So you got ratioed on Twitter about the Disney Plus Marvel lineup, but who is the main character in that lineup? We need Reed Richards, I think. I must have hit some Marvel website. Let's see it. Let's go there. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to make a video about that, and you watch what happens. So it'll tell you about Twitter. Let's go there. Bum, 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 bum. I got to get through all the Friday Night Tights. I didn't get ratioed on that one, so let's show this one first. All right, so we're going to go to the next one. Oh, I didn't get ratioed. I'm close. But I did not get ratioed. I would happily get ratioed on this, proving that I understand that I don't always have the popular opinion. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Doctor Who fans, you can relate to this. The MCU right now is in the very early first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker stage. So we're in episodes 1 through 4 right now. Remember that? I'm sure you do. Remember the denial. Remember the shit I used to get, the downvotes I got on the video. The people were just calling me all kinds of craziness. And then episode 4 happened, Arachnids in the UK, and everything changed. The whole tone changed. The whole fucking tone changed. And then I started getting emails going, especially after season 11. Especially after the Timeless Children, I started getting emails going, I disagreed with everything you said until the Timeless Children. So the MCU, which is now the MCU, it's Marvel Phase 4. Shang-Chi, Black Widow, technically lost money. There are reasons. There are legitimate reasons why it didn't lose money. But if we're going to bring in the legitimate negative reasons, we need to bring in the legitimate positive reasons why the movies even did as well as they did, which I'll get into in my video. But here we go. This is pretty close to getting ratioed. Now, maybe I'm wrong on what getting ratioed is, but I thought it was, hang on. Sorry, I showed the wrong one. I thought it was basically getting more retweets, quote tweets than likes. Getting more quote tweets than likes. And if that's the case, well, I'm still ahead. There are 254 comments. There are 569 quote tweets. I'm guessing the majority of them are calling me a fucking misogynist, a racist, an idiot, a piece of shit, Nazi. Yeah. And then I got 744 likes, but it's close. It's close. And my whole point of putting that up there is, doesn't that look like the all new, all different image that Marvel put out a while back that I said was going to happen 2 years ago? So it's here. By the way, you can't see. I wonder if I click on this, if you see the whole picture. Yeah. Yep. Okay, you can. Thor is in the back. Loki is in the back. We have 2 dead characters and an anti-vaxxer. I hate that term, by the way. I'm just using it for comedic purposes. Yeah. So we have fake Captain Black America. We have a plank of wood. I like Scarlet Witch, but they're going to make her OP, and now she is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. We have a Black Panther there. We have a dead character right here. The other dead character is Chadwick Boseman. May he rest in peace. And then the most prominent Marvel superhero in this entire picture is in the back corner. Nobody puts Thor in the back. He's got short hair now. He doesn't look anything like the character from the fucking comic book. Captain Black America looks like a skier, like an alpine skier. The Black Panther costume looks good. They did a good job on the Black Panther costume. Looks pretty tight. And then there's Shang-Chi. The absolute triumph that lost money. Yeah, so I'm getting a little ratioed on that. Okay. Oh, there we go. We got Brandon Lucas. Why didn't they fast track the Fantastic Four? Why didn't they fast track the X-Men? Because they needed to do the Eternals first. The Eternals was essentially an entire team that was diverse in some areas, that was completely gender and race swapped from top to bottom. And then the only character they kept white, they made the villain. They made the villain when throughout all of comics, Icarus was the hero, and it was Druig or Sprite who betrayed the team, not Icarus. But they made it because of the symbolism. They wanted to do bad Superman, then white man bad. Well, get ready for one of the crazy. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'll say them in live streams. I don't run with rumors and stuff. I don't like getting in that game. I'd rather talk about stuff that's happened. But one of the emails I got saying that I work at Marvel and da-da-da, and thanks for sending it. I'll accept the email, is the Fantastic Four is going to be all black. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I would expect more of a multi. I think they're going to find a way to, but the Fantastic Four isn't going to look like the Fantastic Four from the comics. And the X-Men, I heard it's going to be even worse. Somebody emailed me and said Henry Cavill for Wolverine, and I actually like that. I think he would actually probably play a pretty good Wolverine. There's other rumors that he'd play Captain Britain, which I'm for too, except in a different era when Victoria Alonso is gone, because I think she is at the heart of a lot of this. Mexican Iron Man for 50 American dollars, American pesos. Let's see if I can highlight this one, buddy. I got to see if I can find it. There it is. Hail Neurotic! We started on this channel as a fight for fandoms we love, turned into a culture war, and now we're in a fight for facts, truth, and our very freedom. Hail, brother, and keep up the good fight. Love you, Brother Mike. Love you too, man. And congratulations on your gigs. You're doing a great job, buddy. You're doing a great job. Thank you for the $50. I'd like to put up a definition. This is a spoiler from my next video. I guess it's just turning into a regular live stream at this point. I don't care. My wife is gone. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is. Here it is, folks. This is the definition of a flop from Google. What is considered a movie flop in the film and media industry? If a film is released in theaters, if a film released in theaters fails to break even by a large amount, it is considered a box office bomb or a box office flop, thus losing money for the distributor, studio, and or production company that invested in it. Yesterday, day before yesterday, the company released films such as Black Widow, the company being Disney, Free Guy, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Bracelets during those 3 months and delivered solid box office results. However, high operating and marketing costs led the company's Disney content sales and licensing segment to post an operating loss of $65 million during the quarter. In other words, Black Widow and Shang-Chi lost money. In other words, they were not successful. For whatever reason, they were not successful. Technically, they were both flops. And this is what we're fighting. What Mexican Iron Man says there when he says it's a fight for facts and truth. We have a major corporation running out and calling. Of course, I understand they want to skew things successfully. I get it, but they're trying to change the definition of words. You know, when Dave Chappelle said he didn't like arguing with a portion of the alphabet community because they changed definitions of words to win arguments. Well, the system's doing that too. Mainstream media, big tech, and the movie industry. And that's why we're trying to fight it on stuff that would seem harmless. But when you start lying and changing and manipulating things in public, be it in entertainment or anywhere else, you start making it okay. These are adults. You're showing kids to do this stuff. People are just constantly lying and rolling with it. We know every time we see a press conference from any fucking politician, we know it's theater. We know they're lying to us, and we're just okay with it. We need to stop being okay with this shit and call it out. I don't care if anybody enjoyed Shang-Chi. A lot of people did. That's great. I'm not talking about, like, I didn't like the film. I didn't think the film was good, but I certainly didn't think it was as bad as Black Widow, and it wasn't as bad as the Eternals. Still wasn't good. It also wasn't a success. It made some money during the COOF, and it was impressive. It was more than I thought, but it wasn't a success. It lost the company money. They would have been better off releasing it day and date, because at least they would have gotten Disney Plus subscribers. But they didn't. And then they paid the price. I'll bring up another image, because Disney had after Disney Plus Day, you would think Disney's just riding high right now. They're not. That was on Disney Plus Day, where they announced all the content. Disney stock is hurting because they have a bit of a money problem right now. And they also don't have enough content on Disney Plus, and more importantly, compelling content. Disney is hamstrung right now because they can't not only make rated R content, their PG content can't even really be PG-13, because they have to uphold their family image. So they got to make the most boring, generic content, and it's all data and algorithm driven. That's why you see so much humor in Marvel films. And you notice the humor comes about 2 beats after something serious or something stressful or something sad, because they don't want their customer to feel uncomfortable watching their stuff. So they have to homogenize it and not have them feel feelings, which is why we make art. And it stops becoming art. And they're using it to manipulate you. They're using their platforms for influence. And they don't really care what the product is anymore. And that's pretty clear with their last 3 movies. And my theory was the critics turned on them because they had had enough. They had covered for them for the last 2 movies. They're not going to cover for them for something this bad with the Eternals. And is it going to get so much worse with Miss Marvel? We'll see about Hawkeye, but I'm guessing we're going to see another traditional male character pass the mantle off to a much more capable, smarter, better, and more talented female character, because we've never seen that before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It'll be the first time we've ever seen that since the last time we saw it. We've seen the most Marvel we've seen of anything this year, and the stock is down. And this is the same bullshit they've been feeding us with fucking Doctor Who. Well, let me show you another image. Here are the ratings for Doctor Who in America. By the way, this is the truth. Again, I don't make the rules. I don't create the definitions. And I want stuff to be good. I would rather, for example, be reviewing a House of the Dragon show that is great, or a Lord of the Rings show that is great. That would be so much better for this channel. So much better. You know, this channel's had a lot of growth spurts. One of its biggest was Game of Thrones. But that misery was out of love for Game of Thrones. I loved it more than anything. And I wasn't just a guy covering it. You know, I was a guy who read the books. And I was a fan. And other fans came in. And we commiserated. But, like, what we're not getting is the truth, and it's on a regular basis. And I know people are going, "Don't be naive; they're always lying to you." Yeah, but I mean, we let it go too far. We should have been calling out a long time ago. So, the first episode here on Halloween, which was a stupid day to bring it out because we do celebrate it here quite a bit, but not to worry because no kids are watching Doctor Who anymore. If you look at that demographic, it's a 0.08, meaning out of the 339,000 people that watched it overnight, and to be fair, double the number for digital viewers or for streaming. So let's just say it's a little over 500,000. But out of that 500,000, I argue the demo will still be 0.08. It's not 0.08 of the 500,000 or 600,000. It's 0.08 of the 183 million people who are in the 18 to 49 demographic. You round it up, it's roughly about 140,000 people. 140,000 young people in the demographic in the United States of America, with 330 plus million people watch Doctor Who. And let's be nice, let's double that number. Let's say 280,000 people in a country of 330 plus million people watch Doctor Who. Then the ratings went down in the next week. The demo held firm, meaning the only people watching Doctor Who are older, hardcore fans, 50-year-olds, essentially. That's a dead show. This is a show that used to have a 2.0 18 to 49 demo on average. All right. I need to get new glasses. Oh, I hope I didn't lose it. I have to ask again. I love it when you stream alone, Gary's. Always love listening to you, my friend. Why, thank you, Orville Nation. I appreciate that. Thanks for the $5. PJ's the man. We've got Revuel Arvida says Disney need Hibiki Otsuki. Oh, I don't even know, for Ironheart. Hibiki Otsuki for Ironheart. Did you see on Twitter yesterday, there is a Japanese porn called Ironheart, and it's a girl in an Iron Man costume having sex because it's a porn. I think it's funny. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Susan Dolan. Hey, Gary, did you get my email? I did. I hope you had a good laugh. I did. Turns out Ironheart's Riri is plagiarized. Well, no spoilers. I'll let you tell it. Yep, there you go. Yeah. She might have an iron heart, but no, I don't even want to go there. I just don't want to go there. Thank you, Susan, for the email, as always. What's up, D? Thank you for the 20 Australian dollars and the super sticker. I appreciate it. Happy Sunday to you. Or is it Sunday? Yeah, it's still Sunday there. John Ghost, thank you for the $20 super sticker. Wow, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I'm trying to find out. Okay, I'm just going to ask again. So what was your gut feeling when you heard RTD was coming back for Doctor Who? What was your first reaction? Brief as possible. Supreme Court Justice Brandes said that quote about free speech. Thank you for the commentary. I always enjoy it, but don't always agree. Hey, and that's Mike. We're not always going to agree, and that's fine. Mike from New York City, thank you for the $10. There we go. Fantastic Mr. Knox for 10 Australian dollars. We need to vote with our wallets and make those in charge. We don't want this woke stuff. All we want is to be entertained, not being force-fed baloney. Case in point, Miss Marvel and the 13th Doctor. Exactly. Miss Marvel thankfully was delayed. Although a lot of YouTubers are bummed out. Let's be real. All right, so let's see what you guys had to say about this. Scrolling down. Holy mackerel. Let's just go down to that. It was right there. Skeptical, but slightly optimistic. Too little, too late. They're so desperate. Sorrow. I knew that it was more just jangling keys. Doctor Who is dead. He can quietly retcon the last few years, e.g., Half Human Doctor 1996, the Weird Ghost Doctor in Legopolis. Well, I think The Watcher. My brain was farting there. People were bringing up The Watcher for the Maori. Get a little bit of a vibe, but not too much. I'm thinking a lot of this is going to be in the Doctor's head. I don't know. I feel like, remember how disappointed a lot of people were at the end of season 6 when they just wrapped up the River Song stuff? They built this thing up and they just wrapped it up. It's kind of crazily. I think it's going to be something like that, but worse and woke in a double down. RTD returning is a good thing. Bait and switch. Can't be worse than Chibnall. Well, that's true. Some hope. I hide a dead SJW in my beard. No, just lunch. I farted and didn't care. Don't care anymore. Too little, too late. My gut feeling was don't get your hopes up. Too little, too late. Some hope, probably not going to happen. I hope people don't get their hopes up. First reaction, cool. Second reaction, okay, wait. Well, I like that. Where's Moffat? I thought it's afraid. Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, if you wanted vindication, because Piers Wenger is never going to come out and say, and God, what if somebody did this? Just think about it. Okay. They would rather waste millions and billions of dollars than just somebody coming out or an organization coming out going, you know what? We cocked it up. We tried this thing. We went about it all wrong. Our attitude towards you, the fandom, was wrong. We treated you poorly. We automatically thought because you didn't like the female doctor, you were going to be misogynist. We had that in our heads. It was a preconceived notion. It was a preconceived prejudice. And we're sorry. And we're going to do better. Never happened. But if you really want things to be okay, that's what it would take. And you'd be surprised at the response. They would be, because they're so ego driven that being humble is just something that doesn't even cross their fucking mind. But a good heartfelt, I'm sorry, goes a long fucking way. A long way. Nope. Too little, too late. Too little, too late. What's the point? He is bought off. Better that than what we have. It's still dead. Yawn. Thank God. Didn't care. Don't give me hope. I was over it. Won't make a difference. Too little, too late wins, by the way. Who is RTD? That's part of the problem. So if you're not a Doctor Who fan, Russell T Davies is, to the new era, the George Lucas of Doctor Who. Not really technically the George Lucas of Doctor Who, but I guess the best analogy would be, or if Rick Berman came back to Star Trek, but better. Because not everybody loved Rick Berman. I didn't love Rick Berman. I love him now. I was wrong, and I would apologize to that guy. I want to talk about an apology. I owe Rick Berman an apology. I do. And I've done it many, many times. Rick, I was wrong. I'm sorry. What you did with Star Trek was, there will be no equal to what you did with Star Trek, man. Sure, it was stale sometimes, and it felt like Star Trek with a stick up its ass, and it was never as good as the original series, but it's better than the fucking shit we have now. And he managed 4 series. So, yeah. Oh, we got a $50 one, and Seth Trollins for $50 says the recent FNT was awesome. I've been following Dankula for years now. So seeing his face in the thumbnail was a pleasant surprise. Keep up the great work, Gary. Thank you so much. X-Ray Girl got him. And, Dankula wasn't familiar with, I don't even know if he even heard of any of us, but he came in and he was fucking great. So a bunch of people he doesn't really know. He just fit right in and was funny as hell. And I had a great time talking to him. We'll have him back for sure. The guy's a fucking pro, man. That is a pro. And look at his trajectory, man. He just videoed his dog Sieg Heiling and almost went to fucking jail. So he is still like the poster man of how fucking insane this world is. And he was great. That was a fun show. And I'm sorry it got blocked for a little while. It's because I posted the Disney Plus stuff, which is still only on Disney Plus. Usually Disney doesn't fuck with you. And they only got mad at one point when we didn't talk long enough. So I decided to just clip it. So you guys will get the show. If I fought it, it would have been longer. So and amazing enough, it got blocked. It came back on. You guys are still watching it. So thank you. We appreciate it. Count Dankula is fucking brilliant. I cannot recommend enough his 2 Christopher Lee videos where he just talks about how badass Christopher Lee is for about an hour and a half. And watch it. Definitely watch it. Unfavorable opinion alert. RTD was the death of Who. Oh, there's a lot of people who think that, J Hag. I disagree respectfully. I loved it. I loved what they did. I loved what he did. I think it's one of the greatest eras I've ever seen. It's certainly different. And hey, RTD, I would argue, has brought more people to classic Doctor Who. Well, no, RTD has brought more people to classic Doctor Who than anyone alive, period. It turned a lot of people to classic Who. And what sells right now? Classic Who stuff. Because the toys are the best. They're the best fucking action figures. They're the perfect size. Action figures should be 5 inches, and they should not be statue figures with their arms all fucking bendy that you can't stand up. I mean, I appreciate what McFarlane did, but they're statue figures. What Doctor Who does is they have great face sculpts, great paint jobs, and they're 5-inch figures with what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of articulation, 9 points of articulation if you count the head turning. It's perfect. It's meant to be played with. It's also an art form. And my walls are filled with them. And this is these 3 shelves, Doctor Who stuff. half of this wall, and that is the tip of the iceberg of what I have. By the way, if anybody out there knows anybody who has the Weeping Angels 3-pack with Rory and Amy Headstone, please contact me. Thank you, J-Hag, for the 5 British pounds. That's proper money right there. My first initial thought of RTD returning was dread, knowing it's got so bad they need to bring him back. LOL. Love your videos, Gary. Take care, lad. Thank you, Dr. Sace, for 5 British pounds. I appreciate it. Ryan Matthew for $5. Why has Jodie Whittaker become an awful actress? Like, she is getting worse somehow year by year. Like, wow. How? I think the role has been, well, there was a rumor out there that her agent like begged her to get off the role. I don't know if it's true. But she hasn't improved because she didn't prepare for the show. And now she's just she's on her way out. So why bother? But to any actor, if you're out there watching this video, which I highly doubt you are, prepare for this role. Show it the respect it deserves. And you want to ingratiate yourself to the fandom, prepare for the role. You don't have to be a Doctor Who fan. Matt Smith wasn't a Doctor Who fan. Matt Smith prepared for the role. Matt Smith was a great doctor. Wes Mooney Webcast for $5. What's up, buddy? Any predictions for STD Steven season 4? Yes, crying. Lots and lots of crying. I never saw the cause for the burn coming out last year. That was dumber than the dumbest thing I can think of. Yes. Like I said, Doctor Who and Star Trek are on parallel courses. So the burn is basically the flux. They're the same fucking thing. But the burn basically blew up all the active dilithium, which is what the starships are powered on in Star Trek. And you know what blew them up? An upset, retarded Kelpian. You heard me right. A Kelpian, which is an alien, lived on a planet that was made of dilithium. And because he lived near the dilithium, it became part of him. Imagine, I don't know, that a baby lands on a planet of plutonium, and instead of dying of radiation poison like he should have, it mutates his body to where if he cries, it will activate all the plutonium throughout time and space and blow everything up. That's what they did. But when you have she-tarded writers, you get she-tarded content. Dr. Sace, welcome to the Nerdrotic channel as a member. I appreciate it. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, Caligula for $5. The wokeness in Capaldi's run was, and this is on the donation side. This is the Streamlabs side. The wokeness in Capaldi's run was almost too much to bear. The mental gymnastics, I also had to ignore it. Yes, including whitewashing history. And he mentioned Trump by name, which was just cringe. At least it prepped me to deal with the Doctor Who of now, I guess. Yeah, it did. Thank you, Caligula, for $5. That's a good name. Tracy Wilborn for $5. Speaking of dog poop, how are your pups? We haven't heard from them barking at the UPS driver in a while. Are they spread out somewhere else? The rest of your family? Oh, Tracy, she's been around. I miss my pups. My pups are in Wisconsin with my son, with both my sons. My son is being homeschooled there. And his big brother is supervising him, and so is my brother-in-law. And they're all going to come out after Thanksgiving. Every brother-in-law is coming out, and we're going to spend Christmas here and get ready to move. It looks like I'll be getting in a plane to fly to Texas to look at the house. I'd rather drive, but I can't take that much time off the channel. I just can't. Bradley Burnett for $25. Doctor Who Series 13. Oh, but the dogs are fine. They're in good health and they will be back soon. And that's Maris, Parker, and Gomez. So Parker is a chocolate lab. Gomez is some little rat terrier mix. Cute dog. Really, really smart. Like, I think there's some human gene in him or something because he is fucking wicked smart. Parker's sweet and a big wuss. Anytime there's thunder or anything, she just gets under a table. And Maris she's a princess. She thinks she's a princess. Doctor Who Series 13 is it's like picking up dog poop in the backyard. I was picking my dog's donations to the yard this morning. It sucks, but I now have a nice clean yard. If I watch Doctor Who Series 13, I'll never have a clean yard, just a yard of shit. Good point. Bradley Burnett for $25. At least picking up dog poop is it's a noble task. It's keeping your backyard clean. It's keeping things clean so the dogs will go poop back there again. And that's it. It's also better than Doctor Who. So thank you for the $25. I appreciate it. I do. All right, let's do this in order. Oh my God, it's 2. How do I say this name? Hutch Perf. I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. For $10. The first rule of Doctor Who, we do not talk about Doctor Who. The second rule of Doctor Who, we do not talk about Doctor Who. The third rule of Doctor Who, if it's your first watch, everything woke turns to shart or shit. Absolutely correct. Daniel Scarpacci. In my opinion, the MCU was over after Endgame. Anything afterward feels inferior. Sadly, it is inferior because remember, Disney didn't start the MCU; they bought it right before the Avengers. Kevin Feige didn't take full control until Civil War, and now it is only Disney. And they bought Marvel to bring in more lads, and they did, but then they made it for princesses. There's a lot of people who still like it, and we're in the Force Awakens phase, the Doctor Who Series 11 first 4 episodes phase, the Star Trek Discovery first few episodes of season 1 phase. People aren't ready to let go of the MCU because, hey, it had 22, successfully decent films on average. Okay. Lethal Lightning, if he's still out there, would probably argue with that. And so would Ryan. And so would Jeremy. But I would say most of the MCU was mediocre to good with 2 great movies, which are Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. I would say Civil War is pretty good, little cockamamie plot, but I like it a lot too. I keep forgetting, but I shouldn't, is the Avengers. So it's got 3 great movies. It's got the Avengers, it's got Winter Soldier, it's got Guardians of the Galaxy. Civil War is pretty good. I like Captain America First Avenger a lot. I think it's just a solid superhero movie. I like the first Thor movie. Love Iron Man 1. I even like Iron Man 2. And I'd watch Incredible Hulk and Thor Dark World 1,000 times before I watch Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, or The Eternals. And the best thing Marvel has produced is Daredevil. Daredevil, season 1 and 2. That is the best thing they have produced. It is the most comic book accurate. It is the most compelling. It has the best writing with the best villain and the best hero. Fatman72 for $5. Hail, Gary, from New Hampshire. Love all you do. Also, please come keep up the great work. Love you, man. So passing it on to Az. We love Az, and he is. He'll probably come out with a video. I don't want to make promises for him, but I'm guessing if he's going to bother watching it, he's going to make a video. And he said he's going to try to watch it. He said he's planning on watching it. But we know what happens to plans. All of Hollywood's nerds went full I'll just say it, retarded on wokeness. It's depressing, says King Conquest for $4.99. It is. Unfavorable. I've read that one. The recent FNT. Oh, I read that one too. I've read that one. Give me just a second. I'm just scrolling through, making sure I didn't miss one. It's kind of hard without my X-ray girl here. Oh, okay. Here we go. Richard Shepard for £5 British. Remember when Daleks and Cybermen were legitimately terrifying rather than just being a sideshow? Yeah, those were the good old days of Doctor Who. Yep. I do like the Tennant Cyberman episodes, but they're just a bad guy. They're genuinely creepy in the classic series, and they did revisit that a little bit in the Moffat era, but they really need to play with the fact that they're human, right? And then they're just unstoppable. And they're basically zombies, right? They're robot zombies that are unstoppable. So instead of looking at them as a battalion of soldiers, I would tell a story that's more singular, maybe with one Cyberman, and showing how like one Cyberman can just assimilates a bunch of people in the creepiest way, in a gory way. You see, like maybe have one scene where you see people somebody losing their consciousness. There's a ton of ways to make them creepy. And Daleks, I think the best attempt at that to make them scary and tragic was Asylum of the Daleks. What they did to Clara's character was horrible. I mean, they chopped her up into little pieces and made her a Dalek. This beautiful young girl got chopped up into it and then molded into a little octopus. A little one-eyed octopus. And she didn't know it. It was fucked up. Man, that's a good episode. Hey, Gary, if you need some renders for your new studio, I am on Twitter as Cactus Floyd. I'll check it out. Felipe Abrigo. I will check it out. Thanks for the offer there. The old question. Okay, I read that one too. I like Torchwood. The next Doctor needs a bowler hat, and Doctor Who needs to be reset after the Husbands of River Song. Chris, for $5, I like the Husbands of River Song. I like that. I like that episode. I thought it was good. We could, I think we could all get together and agree on a starting point, where they can get rid of everything, but they're not going to get rid of Jodie. I think there is a 0.00000000000000001% that they'll get rid of the Timeless Children. There is no way they will get rid of Jodie. No way, ever. All right, here we go. Oh my God. Let's get down there. We have Tyson Burgess is a new member. Welcome. And then we got Dr. Sace, who says, curious, Gary, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of nerd culture and what has happened to it in the last 5 or 6 years? Will it bounce back? I think nerd culture is going to go back to what it was and what it always kind of should be. Niche. I think once the time of the nerd is coming to an end. It is. And we had a good long 15 minutes. We did. But we see what happens when some nerds get in control, and we also see what happens. I never thought I'd see the day with poser nerds, but we are. There's a bunch of tourists. There's a bunch of imposters. There's a bunch of posers. And we're talking specifically about customers, fandom, not creatives. Not creatives. Because if you were a nerd before, but then you become a creative and you work in the industry for a long time, you're really disconnected from the paying customer. You're really disconnected. And it almost gets adversarial at times because the paying customer criticizes the creator, and the creator generally doesn't like to be criticized. And that's why I try to separate the two. But I don't think it will bounce back to this kind of popularity, but I think it'll always be there. And it will always be mostly the people who are too into Spider-Man or a little bit of a reject here and there. That's the way it should be. But for those of us who just want to enjoy entertainment, I think we're going to have to, I don't know if it can fully survive that. I don't know what there'd be to replace it. If there's a good fantasy series out there, yeah, I just don't think it'll be the driving thing anymore. And it has been. It has been, because that's where the best stories, we knew it all along. When we were kids, we're reading these amazing comics. These things should be movies. And it took Hollywood 40 years to figure it out. What we knew at 6 and 7. That's how behind they are. Good question, though. Good question. I don't know. I don't know. It's decimated it for sure. Disney Plus and other streaming platforms are running into problems because of streaming services is expensive. They need good new content to keep on attracting subscribers, but content is limited. The investors are realizing this and selling their stocks. And that is Gragnock for $50. Let me go highlight that. And Gragnock, you are right. So let's discuss that for just a moment and discuss how far behind Doctor Who is. Thank you very much. For a brief moment, investors were excited about streaming because for the first time, Robert Meyer Burnett pointed this out, by the way. I'm not going to say this is my take. He pointed this out, that it was the first time in the history of Hollywood they had a consistent revenue stream. Everything has been, if this does well, if that does well, if this does well. But no, streaming services, no matter what we have on it, we have a certain number of people giving a certain amount of money all the time, and we have that coming in all the time. We don't have to fully rely on running after producers and investing and da-da-da-da. And it was great. It was great. But what they're realizing is what it takes to create content. It's not unlike creating content for your channel on YouTube. You always have to do it. There are no breaks. You can't. Disney's by the way, this is probably, if anything's going to end Netflix, it will be the binge model. Netflix would be so much further ahead of everyone else if they release their stuff weekly. But now their stuff just gets digested in a weekend and it's gone. And you just blew $100 million, $50 million, and you got to come up with it. Squid Game, gone. Imagine if Squid Game was weekly. Imagine if Squid Game was weekly. It would be huge. And it's big now, but it would be 5 times as big. 5 times as big, because it would allow more word of mouth, and you would have people watching it at the same time every week. And then it would be a water cooler show, and there will be breakdown shows of each episode. There'd be theorizing, speculating, all this shit on Reddit. They threw all of that away to drop it all at once. And it was dumb. There'll never be another show like Game of Thrones again unless it's weekly. Squid Game could have been a massive, massive, massive show. It's still big, but I'm talking stratosphere. It's a huge mistake. So entertainment's becoming too disposable. It's too expensive, and it's not the main thing anymore. They're putting all this time and money, and they got a little bit of a boom, but they're also Hollywood has peaked. It's starting to fall. It's starting to erode. It's going to take years and years and years and years. But more and more people are just going to streaming, and we're entertaining each other, and we're finding other things to do. This is real, folks. Look at Nick Rekieta's coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. If that tells you what, if there's anything that tells you what direction we're going in, it's that. The networks can't compete with Nick Rekieta drinking his whiskey or whatever he drinks, smoking his cigars, calling 10 of his friends at the last minute to cover something that cost him about whatever that whiskey cost. That was his budget for the fucking live stream. Greg Doc, you're right. Absolutely right. John Ghost, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Oh, I just lost that. Thank you, John Ghost. New member. No Zaku Boy became a YouTube member. Awesome. Nerdrotic, you'll be seeing a member stream soon. All right, I'm going to do one more check and then I got to bail. Jay Hogg is a new member. Welcome, Jay. I appreciate it. I blame Big Bang Theory for the rise of poser nerds, says Mr. Insanity Methods. I do too. I can't stand the show. Mr. Fantastic Mr. Knox for $5 says, as the 45th quoted, which is relevant for everything, including pop culture, everything that is woke turns to shit.
I'm going to come.
Anyway, great stream today. It's Monday, by the way, in Australia.
Oh.
Yeah, I put up a tweet yesterday that says Australia is not only a day ahead, it could be our future. So we need to call that shit out and support our Australians fighting for their individual rights and freedoms. I have never said don't get the poke. Do what you like when it comes to the poke. Do not give up your freedoms, or more importantly, anyone else's, because you're afraid. Look at the statistics. If it makes you feel any better, this is just one anecdotal story. I've been on 4 planes. I've been to multiple meetups, hugging people, shaking hands, fucking, again, being on plane, being in tight quarters. I have not gotten the coof. I have tested. I don't know why I haven't gotten it, but I don't have it. Our Vegas meetup, one person got it going home and they might have gotten it on the plane, but I heard 0 people from getting it. The Arizona meetup, I heard that one person might have had it, but it's no big deal. I don't know. And that could have been, it was an open meetup in a bar with a bunch of other people. So who knows, whatever, but I'm fine. And you might get it, and go see a doctor if you do. Obviously, I am not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a gynecologist. I'm not a proctologist. I'm not a hairdresser. I'm not a fluffer. I'm not an astronaut, and I'm not Spider-Man. But I am a YouTuber. Fantasia Builds became a YouTube member. Hail! Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, folks. Y'all have a very good day. I think I got all the super chats. Oh, wait, here's one right here. If I didn't, I'll get it on my Square Up. If you were watching last week's Doctor Who review, there's a Square Up on Nerdrotic Live right now that finishes up the questions from that review, just in case you missed it. I see that Rags plushie in the background, Gary. Yes, right here. I got 2 of them. I'm going to give one away at a meetup. I'm still waiting for the Mauler, but this is a Rags plushie. They're freaking great. They're cute. I mean, I am not in the plushies. Okay, I'm not in the, but I know people are. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna try to get some Friday Night Tights. These things aren't easy. You got to like basically convince them to make them for you, and I need to convince them that I could sell a lot. There's this, and there's also, just to plug myself a little bit, there's this. Coming soon. Nerdrotic Blend Coffee from Geek Grind. That's right. Nerdrotic Blend Coffee from Geek Grind. I'll let you know when it's live on the website. We're also going to give some away on Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/nerdrotic, we will be doing a giveaway, but it will be available for sale, and I'll let you all know then. Another announcement, Chrissy Mayer is joining Friday Night Tights as a co-host permanently. Friday Night Tights is now at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. We got really close to starting on time, but then something happened last minute, but then hopefully we start on at 1:30 p.m. for our Brits. And we have Razor Fist this Friday. I showed you guys a picture of the new studio. Lots of fun stuff happening. So geekgrind.com. By the way, they have been watching the channel for years. They are fans. They are your fellow fans out there. So they're not just some sponsor that flew on in. They know exactly what we say. We will not be canceled by them. This is the kind of sponsor you want to support. And I think they might be supporting some other people in the future too. So I appreciate that. And good job, Mrs. Nerdrotic, getting this one going. And we got a member. We got T. Stoney is a member. By the way, your name goes in the credits at the end of every Friday Night Tights and live stream. Not this one, unfortunately, because I can't fit it on, but or maybe I could. But your name will go on the credits. Perry, I'll put you up there. And let me check one more place here before I go. Just a reminder, I don't do this enough. I have 2 alternate channels. Nerdrotic Live, which is while the live stuff gets uploaded, except for Friday Night Tights, which stays on the main channel. And I'm considering putting Real BBC on the main channel and keeping it there. But all the Doctor Who, Star Trek Discovery, all the TV reviews that are live, and all the Nerdrotic Nooners get archived on Nerdrotic Live. And the Super Chat Square Ups, that's where they go as well. So please be sure to subscribe over there. This episode will be up on Nerdrotic Live in a couple of hours, or just hang on to the link. Even though it's unlisted, it's still live. You'll still be able to see it. Share it with a friend. That's fine. Jay Schwalbach for $25. Can we start a campaign to get the critical drinker to be the next doctor? He's good looking, right accent, and he could write some episodes too. And maybe Chrissy Mayer is his companion. That would be hilarious. This would have the universe. This would save the universe and my sanity. I'm for it. I'm for him writing it for sure. Woke Fantastic Four, gender swap, Reed Richards and Susan. Okay, make Johnny gay. Oh, Johnny's going to be gay. Johnny Storm is going to be gay. He's the Human Torch. He says flame on. And hyper promiscuous, of course. But swap relaxed Jew Ben Grimm to devout Muslim. How anti-Semitic, not like this. No, it's Nathan Brasil for $5. It's Fantastic Four is going to be just the one thing is you got the comic. You always got the comic. Last night, my girlfriend wanted to watch a movie. I offered Bond or Shang-Chi. She asked, what is Shang-Chi? I explained a little. She asked who Awkwafina was playing. I said, Marvel's Katie. She told me, stop making shit up. We watched Bond. Ugh. That is Bradley Burnett for $20. Yeah, they Marvel's fucking Katie. Marvel's Katie and the Eternals. It's she-tarded. I'm reading the leftover donation on the donation side. I saw Raya and the Last Dragon yesterday. Wow, talk about quietly indoctrinating kids into woke imagery. Rainbow dragons, SJW haircuts, minimized males. That's Disney. It's everywhere. It's in everything, everywhere. And there are people, our detractors, of course, are saying we're making this stuff up. Well, I mean, our detractors, for the most part, aren't very good. If you're defined by your detractors, then we have a lot of work to do. And they don't know much about nerd culture. They're MCU fans. They're not comic book fans. So it is funny when they try to, maybe that's why they stopped making videos of when they were just flat out getting shit wrong in their videos, calling me out. It was hilarious. Doctor Who season 13 is like, okay, I read that. Okay, we're caught up. We're caught up. Thank you, everyone. You've been brilliant. I don't know who else is live streaming, but go enjoy another live stream. And I will be back Monday for a nooner. And hopefully I'll have a video or two out. You're going to start seeing some more content on Nerdrotic Daily, and you're just going to start seeing more content because I have a Perry Chan and I have you. That's the most important part. We are nothing without you. We are just a conduit. And you guys are the most important thing out there. And, like I said before, whatever this culture war thing we're in, I'm about it. I might be a big dummy, but I take it seriously. And sometimes I fight battles that we might lose. I might lose. We might lose. But it's definitely a we thing. And like I said before, I don't care who the creator is. If you're going after the customer, then you're not part of this mission, whatever it is. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. So until next time, please be good to each other. Don't worry about the Jody bots out there or anything. Go watch some old Doctor Who if you can, if it's not ruined for you, or go watch an old movie. Go watch some anime, some manga. Make the anime and manga fans happy. Stop laughing, manga. Stop laughing. You know what? It's the holiday. Fuck it. I'm going to put my Christmas avatars up tonight. I'm not waiting until after Thanksgiving. I'm in the fucking Christmas spirit. And you know what Christmas means? Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's what it means because it was released around then. Or you can watch Die Hard or Batman Returns, which is also a Christmas movie, or Scrooged. And you know what? I'm going to allow myself to be a little excited for Ghostbusters in 4 days. 4 days. And I will be reviewing Ghostbusters in 4 days. I am excited. My next video will be about Marvel. It will be kind of an I told you so video, but not to you guys, to the Marvel stands. You understand, though. I've got to do those once in a while, especially when the star of a Marvel movie called me out. Come on. I have to. It's obligatory. Picard review. It will happen someday. It will happen. It will happen before Picard season 2 comes out. That's all I can say. Thank you to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who has supported this channel for the years. And I'll see you next time. Ciao. Tangerine.